Hey everyone, this is Iraton VA here. I'm not exactly sure how I would want to go about this video. If you couldn't tell already by the fact that this isn't really edited, and also sorry for the noise. I have the AC on because it's hot as fuck outside. Um, we just have there's just a lot that I need to kind of get off my chest. That this isn't your typical, like, thank you for being patient, and like the next videos are coming out, so like I hope you look forward to that. No. um there's just stuff I kind of have to talk about. That it is in regard to the future of this channel in terms of content, but it's also kind of just on a personal matter. And it without going into too much detail, because again, it's like there's a lot of things that happen that I just don't really want to talk about. It's plainly obvious for a lot of you to see that, like, videos from me have been slowing down. That ever since April, I've been able to be consistent on releasing, like, the Klonoa videos up until the second part of Empire of Dreams, which that was supposed to be a week after the first part, but shit happened. I started a new job that eats up most of my time now because it's a 9 to 5, or well, it's more like an 8 to 4, but same hours. Um and just overall, like, I didn't really think about it that much when I was in the middle of editing it, but when I got to the point where I had to start animating some of those scenes, and I just stare at my computer and just feel this sense of anxiety and this overwhelming sense of just pressure that not only do I put on myself, but just kind of realizing the expectations that, like, I set and just not being able to live up to them. It made me just think back to last year when I was on my forced hiatus for reasons I won't go into. But, if you know, you know. 2022 was probably one of the worst years of my life. I lost a lot of people. I thought I was never coming back to doing any of this, like not making videos, not being able to do voice acting anymore, being blacklisted on everything, being stripped away from the stuff that gave my life meaning, which is, writing stories and putting it all together into a format that I could share with all of you. That, to be fair, and I don't mean this to, like, offend anyone. I don't say this because, like, I don't care about you, like the viewer. I don't mean that. But whenever I write these stories or write these scripts or, fix up a character and everything, a lot of it just comes from a place of stuff that I want to write because of my mindset of, like, either it admittingly just started off as like, oh, I can do this better, but, like, it's generally just because I have an overarching story that I want to tell. I genuinely love these characters, even if some of them are written badly, and I want to fix them up. This applies to multiple things, not just Sonic, not just Blaze Blue, like anything that I write, because I have helped, like, other people with their scripts. And, it's the thing that, like, I went to school for. Like, I went to school for acting, to learn how to be a better writer, to learn how to kind of get rid of my stage fright. And, like, those years I look back fondly on, especially because it was, like, the only time that I actually enjoyed being in school. But looking at stuff now, 2022 just felt like it was the end of everything. That there was no coming back from it. That there was just no way that I'd ever be able to share any of this with any of you, or just being able to share it in general. Because I don't care if my thing is, like, well received, or if it's what the fans want. It's just something that I want to share because I enjoy doing it. And during my time that I was away, I wrote a bunch of things for, like, different projects. Like, my own, like, Pokemon miniseries that is currently on hold because of multiple reasons, one of which being a new PC, for starters, which I do have now, but I'm just kind of busy. And, like, just needing scripting. I taught myself how to ROM hack, so there's a lot of stuff that I still have to do on, like, a technical side. There's a lot of artwork that I have to draw that I just kind of stopped because it just became a little too overwhelming, and I was just losing motivation overall because, like, what was the point? And, like, this would never see the light of day because the moment that I post something, then, like, you know, I'm in trouble. And I just, without trying to go too dark, and I'm sorry if, like, this upsets anyone when I say this, but I suffer from critical depression, which the people that know me and some of you that may have already kind of guessed, like, it's clear as day no matter how much I try to hide it. It started a long time ago, and what I thought reached an apex back in 2018 before I properly got medication and everything. There were times that I legitimately tried to take my own life. And obviously I failed because I'm still here. But there were just a lot of times where there was just, I didn't see a point to anything. That I gave up. I gave up on myself. That I just kept finding less and less reasons to keep on going. And, well, if I'm going to be realistic, that's still kind of how I feel now. I really do my best to try to, like, keep everything up, to fight the good fight, but there are days that it's even just hard to get out of bed and still do what I do. Hell, I can barely work on projects now because of how much I have to work just so I can pay my bills. And with the living conditions I'm in and everything, it all just seems impossible. But I still try. In 2022, there were 3 times that I tried to just disappear. And if it wasn't for the support of my friends, I don't think I'd still be here now. But this also brings me up to, like, my original point of what I'm doing with this channel, where that anxiety that I felt having to work on Empire of Dreams and putting it off for so long to the point where I had to bring on an editor for, like, the first time in my life, and he does a fucking phenomenal job. I'll say that right now. I can't wait for you guys to actually see that part. But so when 2022 happened, that's when Sonic Frontiers came out. And because of my banishment, especially from the Sonic community, where I was vilified and a bunch of other things, I did my best to avoid watching trailers or watching any updates. Like, if anyone talked about it, I just kind of ignored the conversation because I didn't want to hear it. Like, I didn't enjoy people talking about the franchise that I've come to love when I wasn't allowed to be a part of it anymore. That the SMU and BlazBlue and other stuff, it just got stripped away from me. And when Frontiers came out, you know, regardless of what I'll say, like, yeah, it's a good game. It's definitely a step in the right direction, but never before have I approached a Sonic game with apathy. Admittingly, I've given up on this franchise early on, like back in 2019 with Team Sonic Racing, because I legitimately believe that Sonic Team just could not make a good game anymore, that they just keep making stuff that they want to make, and just ignoring the problems and shit. Which is what fueled, like, working on the SMU, because even if I'm not a game developer or anything, I can at least tell a better story. At least that's what I thought. And Frontiers I enjoyed, but none of it stuck with me. I barely remember the music, even though everyone raves about how great the soundtrack is. I just can't recall any of it aside from, like, maybe one song. I haven't even beaten the game yet. I just resorted to watching a friend play through the rest of it because I just can't be bothered. And while the DLC that we've gotten so far has not been, like, substantial, I just don't feel anything towards it. And I think it's that, in tandem with just realizing something, that when I finally came back earlier this year, I thought it'd be as simple as to jump back into my projects like nothing happened. That's what I wanted to do. And even though there was a bunch of people that left, including actors and my co-director for BlazBlue, I thought I could do it. Like, I was back in full swing with everything, even though it took months to actually get a video out. And it's still, like, 3 fucking years since BlazBlue had a video. And I've just come to realize something when it came to SMU. I just don't think I'm passionate about Sonic anymore. Like, the fan base for it, alongside stuff that's happened to me, and just Sonic as a whole, like, it doesn't bring me joy anymore. When I'm at work, I always listen to, like, video game soundtracks, because that's kind of all I listen to, and I don't really listen to Sonic music anymore. Like, I don't feel the urge to listen to it. Like, if someone else plays it, sure, but, like, I don't listen to it at all. And I haven't felt the urge to draw anything for it. Like, there's a bunch of portraits that I have to make for Sonic Heroes and everything, which I just have been putting off. I don't get excited, like, replaying older games like SA2 or something. Like, I caught up on all the mods that I missed while I was away for, like, Generations and such. But even then, I just don't feel anything. I've never felt so much apathy and just so little joy in a franchise that I used to love. And I'm not sure if this is the depression talking, or if this is, like, just all the things that have happened to me with the terrible fucking Sonic community and shit. Or just maybe getting old. I mean, I'm 30 now, for fuck's sake. I don't feel 30, and I just go through this crisis where, yeah, like, everyone tells you that, you know, you figure out your life at, like, your own pace, but I just look at myself where I'm like, why have I not figured out my life yet? Like, why am I still so unhappy? And why do I feel like I'm still stuck? I may be 30, but I don't feel like it. I feel like I'm still in my teens. And I hate that this expanded into Sonic, where I still enjoy voicing him. I still love voicing him in Shadow. People typecast me for Shadow, which is a little obnoxious, but hey, I enjoy voicing for other people, and the rare occasion that I need to do it for my own stuff, then absolutely. And I'll continue to do so. But when it comes to, like, the stuff that I've set up for myself, like having to redo Nozzle Unleashed because it's very old, and there's a bunch of stuff that I wanted to add because, like, my editing is a lot better now, and I wanted to, like, add in a few, like, story notes. For Sonic OVA, like, I've been waiting on an actor for lines for months, which it's a movie, so I can, you know, understand. But at the same time, I haven't really brought myself to just kind of, you know, tell them, like, hey, I kind of need this now, because I don't want to work on it either. Like, just redoing the whole film, not just because it got taken down because of copyright, but because replacing essentially half the cast because they either left or they're blacklisted. And the DLC episode for Adventure Trilogy focused on the villains and everything. The script I've been working on, like, on and off for months, and it's pretty beefy, but I've just encountered a point where I've hit writer's block with it, and I haven't been able to get over it. I legitimately don't know, like, how I want to continue with it, and it sucks. And I dread, like, actually, like, going into some of these projects now, because when I realized that I wasn't enjoying editing Empire of Dreams, I realized, yeah, Klonoa I like just because it's not Sonic, I'm just tying it into it. But I just don't want to work on it anymore. And I think that just extends to a lot of the SMU. Now, I want to preface, I'm not canceling anything. I'm still going to work on SMU. Like, I am dedicated. I have this story that I want to tell, and even if it kills me, I will get it out. But, honestly, I don't feel the motivation for it anymore. I've lost all joy and passion when it comes to Sonic, and even talking about it, I just don't feel anything. I really don't. And I really hate that it's come to that point where I really don't feel it. And I feel bad about that too, because I feel like I'm letting all of you guys down. Especially with the direction that I want to take the channel in, because I'll be honest, even though we haven't posted a video yet, BlazBlue has been making, like, great progress. The editors and I have been hard at work with fine-tuning, like, 3 episodes that are coming out. My new PC is able to run things without crashing, or, I can actually, like, record in 60 frames, so, like, I've been, like, hard at work, like, recording a bunch of stuff for BlazBlue. Not just, like, the fights, but, like, other things, because I don't have any other way to get the footage now that the co-director left. And, like, I've been hard at work redrawing all the characters, because I said I was going to do them in my own style that's similar to how the in-game portraits were. Plus, it's easier when it comes to adding the new characters, because they'll be in one consistent art style. And, like, I'm not even halfway, but I've been enjoying the hell out of drawing them. And, like, every time I have to sit down and write something for BlazBlue, every time that I have to, like, hold a meeting, hell, when I'm at work, like, 75% of what I listen to is the BlazBlue soundtrack. And it's like, I haven't felt this much joy working on a project in so long. Since I started back in, like, 2017 with BlazBlue. And with me not feeling passionate about Sonic anymore, and legitimately feeling actual joy when I work on BlazBlue, I think it's just very clear what that means. So, this video's already long enough with me rambling on, but I've been trying to rehearse this in my head for, like, the past few days of what I was going to say, and I broke down plenty of times when I was telling it, so I'm kind of proud of myself that, like, I've been able to stay mostly, mostly sane, actually, like, trying to get this out. But going forward, after Empire of Dreams is released, BlazBlue will now be the priority of the channel. There's so many things I want to get done with it. There's so many, like, videos that need to be done, so many stories that I want to share. Like, it's not just Central Fiction. We're going back in the timeline to, like, fix some things, give characters story modes that, like, they didn't before. Kind of retcon a few things because God fucking Mori can't write a story to save his life. But there's so much that I want to do, and, like, I need all the help I can get with it. But at the same time, it excites me. Just knowing that, like, this thing that started, like, admittingly kickstarted, like, me wanting to do projects and stuff on, like, YouTube, on Discord, like, me being in the voice acting community. Like, yes, I'm still very much passionate for it, mostly just because now it truly feels like my own project, because before it didn't. It didn't feel like mine. I didn't really have control over it, and that's another reason why we haven't had videos in so long, because I felt more like a helper than the actual director. And that's not to say that, like, the co-director was awful. No, far from it. I'll always appreciate their hard work, but I feel less limited now that they're not there. And, like, I also feel less limited in what I can write. There's characters that I can work on that, like, I'm not limited by, like, the scope of Sonic. And I don't mean stuff like language or anything. I just mean, like, themes I can tackle. Like, I can actually tackle LGBT issues with characters because I don't want to do that with Sonic. I feel like Sonic doesn't need it. That's a controversial take, I know that, but hey, that's just how I feel about things. And, yeah. So, there's not much else that I really want to talk about other than just BlazBlue is now the face of my channel. And I think for the foreseeable future, it's going to stay that way. To reiterate, I'm not canceling the SMU, far from it. I am still going to work on it, and there are still projects in Sonic that I am absolutely looking forward to, and I can't wait to get them out, like Shadow the Hedgehog and like Klonoa 2. Klonoa 2 being like one of my favorite games of all time, and I've been dying to cover that game to show it justice and show why I love that game so much. Like, those I'm absolutely looking forward to showing everyone. But everything else, it's just going to be on a when it's done when it's done kind of mindset, you know? As of now, Sonic is now no longer the priority. I will still work on SMU, but on the side. And when I have time. I know a lot of you, and I mean a lot of you, only really watch me for my Sonic stuff, and I can understand why. And if I lose subscribers, or if I had people calling me out on this, then I understand, but I need to do what's best for me, and I want to do what makes me happy, and Sonic just doesn't make me happy anymore. Watching the direct that I made back in April and seeing all the people like so excited for the Sonic stuff, but like no one cared about BlazBlue, like, I know my audience is not here for that, but it's what makes me happy and it's what I want to do. And I gotta do what makes me happy, because with my very deteriorating mental state, I really don't need anything else that is gonna make it worse. So, I thank you for still being here, those that are, and while I want to say, please have an open mind with this change that I'm having in regards to how the channel is going, I completely understand if you were only here for Sonic and you don't care about anything else. Again, I still recommend you stay because Sonic isn't leaving, he's just not going to be the priority anymore. But I understand if you do. So that being said, I'll see you guys next time, because this has gone on for quite a while, and I don't want to feel like I'm rambling as much as I already am. So thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.